hours later, so we play 30K, and 40K is just something we watch. Kind of like, when you're watching A&E, and then you see that up next, like that show where they're addicted and people tell them not to do drugs anymore. It's kind of like 40K, because it's just it's a train wreck, they're in a ditch one day, and the next day they're just sick and dick, and now, they've got Primarchs coming back, and, who knows what's next, right? With me is Matt Stricken. And Matt usually has Sons of Horus, but today, Matt, what did you bring?
I brought Night Lords.
Night Lords. My God.
Yes.
We've
And,
never seen those on this channel.
Never before. Ever.
Not these ones.
So fresh.
Our diversity pledge moves forward. So not only Night Lords, though, you also brought the Pimp Daddy himself.
I did bring Curs. My army is... I had repainted 3 things for my Sons of Horus. It was over 7,000 points, and I wasn't using half of it. So I converted a bit, and I managed to make almost 3,000 points of Night Lords now.
Didn't play a lot of 7,000 point games.
No, we did not. I
as always have the usual, my make-believe faction that does not exist.
Yet.
We'll see. Who knows, right? Maybe after Inferno, anything's possible. Iron Warriors, yada, yada, yada. We're doing 2,500 points, standard game with objectives, because Maelstrom's stupid. And we always play with a rule called Fear the Flank, so a lot of people comment, they don't know what we're doing. It's really simple. If something comes in from your edge, outflank, and it's not a transport, it can assault. And if it is in a transport, it better assault vehicle. But deep striking still can't assault. Anyway, non-sequitur, so we'll be back with train and armies and stuff.
2,500 points of new Night Lords. It's being led by Conrad Kurz today, and my right of war is going to be Terror Assault. So that means it's going to be night fighting on turn 1 because I'm bringing Kurz. And my guys will be +1 initiative on the turn that they charge, provided that night fighting is persisting. So we'll see if that actually happens starting turn 2. My 2 HQs for today is I have Sevatar right here with his 7 veterans that are accompanying him. The veterans today have a sergeant with Artificer Armor, a Chain Glaive, and the whole squad has melta bombs. There's also 2 power swords and a flamer, and they will be marksmen today, so they will be sniping, hopefully. And then, because I'm using Terror Assault, I have my 3 compulsory troops of terror squads, 2 5-man squads, which are identical. They have Artificer Armor, Chain Glaive, and a melta bomb on the sergeant, and they all have Volkite chargers, 1, 2. And then I have a 10-man squad, same loadout, Chain Glaive, Artificer Armor, melta bomb, Volkite chargers for the squad, and a drop pod. Then we have our 5-man Terminator squad with 4 combi plasma, a Reaper auto cannon because you never see them for fun, 2 chain fists, 3 power fists, and right here is my apothecary or my chaplain, who's rocking Cataphracti armor today, and his power weapon is actually a Chain Glaive today. And then we have our Javelin Speeder, which has basic loadout, multi-melta 200 killer missiles, and the Cyclone Missile Launcher, our Dreadclaw, which is accompanying our veteran squad, and our Leviathan Dreadnought, which has the Volkite Chargers, the Siege Drill, Cyclonic Melta Lance, Armored Ceramite, and it has a Dreadnought drop pod today. And then the man himself, Conrad Kurz.
2,500 points. Iron Warriors, Sons of the Sigilite. Starting up front here. Flavor Slurp. Okay, so we got my leader, HQ Praetor, on a Scimitar jet bike. The jet bike has shrapnel rounds. And he himself has a Power Fist Paragon Blade Artificer. I'm sorry. He's got the 4+ invul save thing. Digital weapons, melted bomb. I think that's everything. Behind him is his retinue. They all have power fists and combat shields. Right here we've got one of my first troops. My right of war is Pride of the Legion. Haven't run it in a while. First one, guys, Cataphracti. They have 4 chain fists, 1 power fist, and a plasma blaster over here. Back behind them we have another Cataphracti unit. Sergeant's got a power sword. Next to him, a guy with the plasma blaster, also a power sword, and we have 3 chain fists behind them. Behind those guys, we got 2 separate quad guns, both with shatter. Behind them, we've got a squadron of 2 javelins with the multi-meltas on both, and each one has 200 kilo missiles. Then we've got the same thing, but just a singular one. Next to them, we got a Scorpius, stock with no upgrades. Next to Scorpius, we have 2 Laser Vindicators, both stock. Right here we have 2 Contemptor Dreadnought, or Contemptor Mortis Dreadnoughts with the Carrier Assault Cannons and extra armor. And last but not least, we've got 2 identical squads of Vets. They're going to have the Machine Killers upgrade, and they're all rocking Melta Bombs, and each Sergeant has Artificer Armor. So I do believe that is 2,500 points. I also forgot to mention I'm running a Relic, which is on my leader. It's the Void Shield Harness. And a whole house we would play with is for every relic you take on a character, you add 1 VP. So now if Matt gets Warlord, it's 2 VP instead of 1. So that is 2,500 points, and my Warlord trait is Master of Ambush because I'm feeling original. And Warriors, Sons of the Sigilite deployment. You can see we have corners. So starting down over here, I've deployed my Scorpius with its butt to the crate there. And to the left and right of it, I've got the quad guns, sort of making sure no pods get to scurry. Put one of my Contemptors here. Back behind them, I've got my squadron of Javies. Again, just kind of board control. More board control in the form of this Vindicator Laser Destroyer. Up front here, we've got one of my troop choices. It's a 5-man unit of Cataphracti. Another 5-man unit of Cataphracti. Another Contemptor here. Back over here is my other Laser Vindy with a nice line of sight. And hiding over here right next to him is my leader, who's just kind of sneaky up in there. Why not? So that's it for deployment. So I infiltrated over here. Got my unit of Vets with Machine Killers and Melta Bombs hiding under the floors of this ruin in this corner. And that's it for what's on the table. Let's talk about reserves. So in reserve, I've got a 10-man unit of Vets, again with Machine Killers, and they're outflanking. And behind them is the 3-man the Penis Spike Scimitar Squad. They'll be outflanking as well.
Channel First Night Lord's deployment, and I had 1 model to place, and that was Curse. So, in true Batman fashion, he's by the chapel, ready to judge. I then had my 2 terror squads to infiltrate. My first one is back here, in the ruins there. And then my second one is in these ruins here under nice floor coverage from Scorpius bombardment. And that's it, so I'll come back to you with my reserves. Yeah, reserves, we have the Terminator and Chaplain, who have teleporter transponders. They'll be deep striking. Then I have my 3 pods, Veterans and Savitar and the Dreadclaw, most likely reserving turn 1. Leviathan, most definitely turn 1. And then my 10-man terror squad for later in the game. Followed by my outflanking Javelin. And that's all my reserves.
And Warriors, Sons of the Sigilite. Starting over here. These speeders move 12 and then another 18-ish to kind of just chill where they are. Moved up with the 2 tanks here, shifted around a little bit. 3rd speeder kind of moved up again, 12, another 18 to be up on there. I shimmied both of the walkers slightly, just keeping their backs up against cover. Moved up 6 with these Terminators, moved up 6 with these Terminators, heading both towards objectives. My leader jumped over this building, this GW building, and moved there. And then he shimmied a little bit in the shooting phase just to get comfy. As far as shooting, not a ton of it. We'll go with the artillery, really, because that's all there was. So, Scorpius got 2 shots and fired way over here at the terror squad, hiding underneath the floors. And I killed 2, I believe, Matt, and they passed their test, but they are pinned. So that's something. Then this quad motor and this quad motor both took turns exchanging fire over towards Mr. Kurz, and unfortunately both scattered off the board. So really that's pretty much all the shooting. The only other movement was over in this corner. My 1 infiltrating unit of Melta Bomb veterans just kind of moved and ran a couple inches, and they just don't want to fight Kurz just yet. So that's a very eventful turn 1 from the Iron Warrior Sons of Sigilite side of things, but I'm sure it's about to get very serious. So we'll see you at the end of Night Lord's turn 1.
Night Lord's turn 1. So I had my Dreadclaw drop down. I was gracious and had more than an inch on all sides. So it did its huge heat dispersal. The Vindicator took a glancing hull point, or a penetrating hull point, and it snapped shooting next turn. It killed a Terminator. It put a hull point on the Contemptor with a glance. It put a wound on the quad mortar squad, and we actually have to roll for a leadership test for them because they lost a model.
I don't take leadership tests for shooting.
Because they're Iron Warriors, of course. And it took a hull point off the Scorpius as well. And
2 actually.
2.
And took out the gun.
Well, with the Leviathan. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm spoiling it.
So the Leviathan came down, moved a perfect line of arc, and it fired its cyclonic melta-lances and its melta-gun into the butt of the Scorpius. Took 2 hull points and destroyed the main gun. So that is a very expensive Rhino now.
Yep.
My Terror Squad came out of the building and shot their Volkite chargers into the squadron of javelins, and even with jinking, I managed to glance down 2 because of their Volkite chargers being
Bang,
strength 5. So that was pretty good. And I had Kurz jump over here. He doesn't have much to do, and he can't just sit behind all game. He threw one of his batarangs, hit, but no lethal precision. So that was unfortunate. And then my Dreadclaw just skimmered back, and we'll see if that survives this turn. But night fighting does persist for turn 2. So, so hopefully I can pull a Clarence and roll it for another 3. We'll see how that goes. So my stuff is pretty good for fighting a Night Assault, so we'll see at the end of Sons of the Sigilite, Iron Warriors, turn 2.
Iron Warriors, Sons of the Sigilite, turn 2. I rolled for my reserves and got 1 in over on this flank. I managed to roll choice, so I chose to bring him on here. I moved in 12. They engaged with their shrapnel rounds at this what was once a 5-man squad of Terran Marines. And I actually killed 3, including the sergeant, and pinned them. And I was complaining that I'd never done that, so karma swiftly made itself known. Over here, my already, jinking speeder fired in due to hull point, contributing to the first blood that was achieved on top of this guy here. There was also some various help from shatter rounds back from one of these guys. And over here, big story. So, shot at, then charged the, help me out here, Matt. Dreadclaw, and surrounded it with 2 units, so that's what's left. There was 8 in there, but there was only room to deploy 5, so we lost 3 guys from that. There was a lot of help and assistance from the jump pack. Over here, the best news ever. So once we wrecked this guy, he hopped out, and nice barrage of las cannon fire from that laser Vindicator destroyer caused a mobilized result on his Leviathan. So Matt's not very happy with me. And then there was also a hull point. No, that was that thing. Never mind. Not a tremendously a lot of things. That was a good sentence. Awesome English. I should work for Trump.
It's gonna be huge.
Oh, I forgot entirely about the guys in the back corner. But I'm pretty sure they're exactly where I left them last turn. So at least there's an objective there. I can make up for that later, hopefully. And I tried to charge these 2 guys. Couldn't make it. So we'll see what happens with Night Lord's turn 2.
Lord's turn 2. We're going to start with my outflanking javelin.
Start of. Or end of, yeah.
Yeah, the end of turn 2. My outflanking javelin came on, fired its weapons into the laser Vindicator and blowing it up. So that's pretty sweet. My Leviathan Dreadnought, even though it is immobilized, melta-lance the Mortis into the ground. So it went kaboom, and it's gone. Other than that, there's not much going on for me. There's this huge cluster right here. So my drop pod came down. My 10-man Terror Squad Volkited into the Terminators and blew them off.
All 4 of them.
All 4. That opened up the laneway for Sevatar and his 4 veterans to charge the Mortis. 2 hull points with the Melta Bombs. So that was really good. And then we had Kurz charge the Terminators. I killed one with his Batarang straight out. My armor saves have not been very good this game so far. I took 3 wounds, and I dealt 3 in return, and he did pass his fear test. My Volkite squad attempted to charge the Javelin after shooting it. It did make it jink, so its firepower is greatly diminished. And that's pretty much it for my turn 2. I roll for night fighting. Roll a 6. So we have round 3 of night fighting and Sons of the Sigilite, turn 3.
Iron Warriors, Sons of the Sigilite, turn 3, I want to say. And unfortunately, my reserve did not come in. So we'll start over here. My wonderful, resplendent, amazing, fantastic Scimitar jet bikes completely whiffed. They fired their 9 shots into the 2-man unit, killing 1, and then failed a 4-inch charge, rolling 3. So, no fun. And a wound was caused in Overwatch by that one Night Lord, so that's unfortunate. Over here, I moved 12 inches with my Scorpius and snap fired again at that unit, unfortunately didn't do anything. My javelin hopped over there, snap fired into the unit that arrived here. I believe they're Termarines.
Yeah.
So I killed none, I don't think. Same thing over here, snap fired again because they were jinking, and I don't think I had much effect there either. Where I did have some effect is I fired point blank with my Vindicator Laser Destructor, killing 2 out of the 3 that I think I was going to hit. So not bad, and I didn't overleap. Down here, my Vindicator's still dead, so that still hurts. Here. Oh yeah, back over here, I shot quads. One could see, one couldn't. To varying efficacy, I think you failed 3 or 4 wounds?
Lots.
3 or 4. Let's say 4.
Between the two,
You have 5 left? Or?
6. I have 3 left.
Okay, yeah, so lots of wounds. Combat-wise, Matt had no problem bombing the Contemptor, but it had a big fucking explosion that hit like everything. So I did a whole point actually on this Javelin, surprisingly enough. And over here, the combat with Conrad Kurz. Kurz had enough and decided to hit and run over there, but not before putting 2 wounds on my leader, who's got 1 left currently. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Kurz has 1 left as well. Or 2 left. I'll make it fun. So yeah, interesting things. We'll see you at the end of Night Lord's turn 3.
Night Lord's turn 3. We'll start here. My 3-man terror squad shot into the Javelin and ended up getting rid of it. So that was pretty sweet. Can't go wrong with Volkites. Kurz and Savitar charged into the last, to the Warlord and the last Terminator. So that got me Warlord, and because he had a relic, 2 VPs just for that. Kurz didn't regain any wounds from it, will not die yet, but now that most of the high volume targets are gone, it'll be a little hard to shift him. The immobilized Leviathan blew up the Laser Vindicator, so for being stationary, that's actually doing pretty good. Multi-melt a shot from my Javelin, took a wound off the quad mortar. And the 3-man squad, terror squad, charged and shot into the Javelin. It's jinking, so its mobility is pretty limited. And that's it. That's the end of Night Lord's turn 4. No more night fighting. And Ben's reserves come in. And then my reserves...
End of turn 3.
And, oh yeah, turn 3. And then my reserves get to come in too, because they haven't done jack.
Iron Warriors, Sons of the Sigilite, turn 4. And that means one very important thing. My last reserve finally came in. Over here. So I rolled choice, and me being the enterprising fellow thought the game may at some point involve a score. So I did indeed move on here. These guys were right in a line engaged with something or other.
Terramarine.
What was it?
The Terramarine.
Terramarines, that was it. And then I, back there, moved my up 2, 4, 5, 6 inches, I think. Engaged with Kurz, but I don't think I did anything because you made your save, or I didn't hit him.
Yeah,
you didn't hit him. Oh, sorry, I didn't wound him. That was it. Over here, I tried to hurt Kurz, but I believe... Oh, actually, I put a wound on you, right?
Yeah.
I did make my wound. Okay. The Javelin was snap firing, so I was quite lucky. The Scimitars moved up over here. They all fired. Didn't do much, but then eventually charged a 3-man unit of Terramarines and 9 Power Fists or 9 Power Fists, so I won that one. Moving down, both quads engaged, I believe, around over here. Didn't actually hurt anybody, but got close. There's a lot of flipping. There's not a lot left, actually, in this quarter, so that was more or less it. A lot of it came down to that charge. I tried to shoot with the snap-firing whirlwind, but there was no luck. So, yeah, interesting game. We'll see what happens on Night Lord turn 4.
Of Night Lord's turn 4, not much happened, because neither of us has much left. My squad of Terramarines is securing this objective. They should do pretty good for the remainders, but we'll see. Savitar and Kurz finished off the bike squad, so the phalluses are now gone. My Terminators came in, they deep struck, it was pretty good. They came back 4 inches and they just blew the crap.
5 dead.
Yeah, 6.
Went to ground.
Because even with the going to ground. Yeah. So there's some options there for them for next turn, but we'll see. So crucial turn 5 for Ben, see what he can do, and that's it for me.
Iron Warriors, Sons of the Sigilite, turn 5. And desperation has come to the end result of the score. So snap fired a little bit, didn't do anything. The unit that's on this objective who came around the corner snap fired and I believe got 1 guy, something like that, not terrible. Or didn't snap fire, but got 1 guy. The Javelin and combined fire from them targeted Conrad Kurz, and I'm happy to say Conrad Kurz is now on the ground. So it's 3 VP for me, plus First Blood was 4 VP. And maybe Outlaker or Linebreaker. But unfortunately, Matt's going to get these 2 objectives because as you can see over here, there's like nothing to contest. And again, the story's over there. And Matt has a javelin still very much intact. So we'll see how Night Lord's turn 5 ends up.
Night Lord's turn 5 and the end of the game. So we'll just start on the boring side of the board. I scored this objective here. I scored this objective here. I split off my character and my Terminators. I moved up 6, so I am within 3 contesting this objective. I elected not to charge
Because you're smart.
Yeah, because I would rather take the sure thing instead of potentially losing with my armor rolls this game. Funny story on armor rolls: my Terminators charged. Ben's hitting and wounding was terrible. He had 2 wounds, and I rolled 2 ones. And then all my Power Fist hits for 6 hits. And then I only caused 2 wounds.
Yeah.
So that's been the kind of game, but
you got close enough to contest.
Yeah, so we're close enough to contest. Final tally is I have 2 objectives. I scored...
Boom, boom.
I scored Warlord, who was carrying a relic, so he's worth 2. So that's 8 points to me. Ben got Linebreaker, First Blood for 2, and he killed Kurz, who was worth 3. So total score is 8-5. Which is a major Night Lord's victory. So we'll see you in the post-game show.
Oh, welcome to the post-game show!
Hello!
I am Crabelzworth, your very inebriated host, and with me is Anubis and Matt Stricken.
Who is sober.
Who is sober and ready to
I'm
go.
somewhere in the middle.
So, interesting game. You totally just watched us play 2,500 points.
And you didn't skip through
You
it.
didn't skip through it because you are patient and somehow unhuman.
You even watched the part about reserves. I know you did.
Maybe you're even part of our 1% female demographic. How you doing, ladies?
Girls watch this? Oh god.
Girls. Anyway, this is water, and I'm going to imbibe it.
That's some nice,
Water's so good.
like pantomime.
Yeah, pantomime.
Environmental pollution affected that water.
Yeah.
So, Matt did more with Night Lords than Clarence could do.
I said it!
Boom! You know where that started actually? It was when you fired off your plasmas and got like 2 overheats instead of 9. It was like, wait, no one died from this?
And it killed most of them too.
Yeah, you killed like 6 guys with that shit. Alright, well, we'll jump right in. Matt, I would love your MVP, sir. Might not be an easy choice because that Volkite squad.
The Volkite squad who killed the Terminators were good. The Leviathan for being immobilized earned
And
its
still having like no problem finding targets.
Yep, earned its points back pretty much.
I'm still committed to the Volkites.
Yeah, the Volkite.
The one that got charged and did a wound?
Yeah,
no, the
like,
Volkites that dropped down and killed 4 Marines in one go.
4 Terminators and 1 volley.
Just like, what was it, 21 shots?
Oh, yeah.
Like 19
Fuck
wounds,
wounds,
like
yeah.
they just obliterated them.
Ripped me apart.
Yeah,
you
that's
didn't even
pretty
need the second round of wounds to kill me.
Yeah, they definitely did the most initial impact. They're probably top. A lot of my stuff worked pretty well in conjunction.
Yeah, I
you?
would say so.
MVP?
I have to think of who was like reliable. I guess the javelin really is that the one that killed. He killed Kurz.
Yeah, that one did. After
So-
everyone else fired at him for about 3 turns.
After every other javelin failed, he succeeded, and well, it's true too because you know what? If I had done 5 wounds, it means nothing to the score.
Yeah.
Until I get that 6, it's literally like
What about-
you're just like I'll put a band-aid on it. You know?
Didn't one of your mortises get you first blood?
I don't know if it's the Mortis, was it?
There's a whole bunch of stuff.
Mm.
There's
I feel like it was a team because it was like one.
Shadow.
Oh, it was definitely a
and then
team
another
effort.
whole point. Yeah, it was.
But
it was one of those,
something
like,
did the finisher.
It was one of those where it's hard to do
Leviathan
to
did
anyone
the finisher.
Yeah, like causality I could give the Leviathan, but like he did the heavy lifting of everybody else.
15 points for a Foster discharger. It's like, do you want to pay 5 points, 15 points, sorry, to just like trump card another unit?
Yeah,
like,
you just
and they're gone.
melted that one unit. So I don't know. I don't have an MVP yet. Actually, Matt, we'll go your epic fail, then we'll go to my MVP.
Okay, epic fail for Matt.
Armor saves.
Okay, we'll accept that. We'll accept that.
Give me a unit. Give me a unit.
The 5-man terror squad that
Yeah.
infiltrated there, they did absolutely
No fault of their own.
No.
They actually killed.
Wait, they scored the objective.
They scored objective and they killed the kid.
Holy shit! What the? Oh, that one over there.
Yes,
They
yes.
They overwatched 1 dick bite down.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was...
But still not a good score objective.
Yeah.
Because in the end, Buddy still fell. To
He
the
died.
Panthers,
Yeah.
so.
He was a fighter.
Honorable mention. MVP, I don't know. I have to give it to the javelin only because, again, like I'm saying,
The single?
doing 5 wounds is great, but if you don't do that 6th wound on the Primarch, you don't get that gooey 3 VP.
It's the threshold.
So, yeah.
Remember,
Yeah.
I always say that this game is a game of thresholds.
Absolutely.
One of those thresholds being the last wound that your character has, and when it's gone,
It's like it's in Ziza and Sari and getting the Greek. I'm proud of those numbers.
he was in that movie.
I think so. Or maybe I think it was no. It's not Ziza and Sari. It's Nick Kroll.
I like that guy.
But anyway, either way, I'm proud of those numbers. Those are solid.
Treat yourself.
29,000. Epic fail. That's less easy. I was not discontent with my leader because like he did a while without taking wounds and he took a bunch. Like it was kind of towards the end. But I think it's either one of the laser Vindies, which is not easy to determine.
They're such workhorses. I'm jealous you have an extra one. I want to make another.
You know what? It's going to be a controversial choice. I'll give it to the Scimitars only because failing that one charge mattered. That put me 1 turn behind.
Yeah.
So if they had just bowling balled through Buddy and I could have consolidated like conceivably 3 to 6 inches, that would have been a better position than like, oh what, that one fucking guy didn't die? Like that cost me a turn with Javs.
And those are the little fights that really make the game.
They do, man, because again, that 1 turn would have put me 12 inches deeper towards the center and better for contest. And as you realize, like the bikes are easy to rule through.
Yeah.
If you got like Scimitar, just walked in there and I'll, actually started Kurz on Scimitar.
Kurz
Because Kurz had the initiative, just like,
murder punched.
Yeah, Kurz did fairly well.
He did pretty good.
Was
With the
stat?
javelins, I passed the multi-melt invulnerable saves, but I failed the cyclones.
Yeah.
So I failed 3 3+s that game. Didn't make 1 5+. It will not die. And
You didn't get a single one on dying. You rolled like 4 times for it. It was unfortunate.
5 times.
5 times.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So it just happens. But I mean, he's by himself. I mean, if I had a Night Raptor squad with him, at least there'd be something to eat up wounds.
I think that's the main thing. Sorry, I'll let you go.
I was just gonna say that's the way to go. I think
I ran
from
out
what
of
we've
points.
seen.
With him being 435, which is not bad for him, until you give him that like 5, 10, 15 guys with him who all get to benefit from his goodness.
South Shrouded.
He's like my jet bike guy. Like he's very good, but like the force multiplier just isn't there.
Yeah.
My guy again, like I have a relic. I can put a shield up, but unless I'm out front, it's not really a thing. You know.
I find more often than not with you use them individually.
Yeah. I'm just making him a shitty target. Because you have to knock down 12 and then deal with a normal model. So it's like, if you do it in the wrong order, which some people do, they just forget and they do like a shitty allocation.
I think it's
you were good. You remembered. You threw the crack first.
You have to.
You learned that lesson the other time. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing with this game. You learn lessons and they suck, but the more they suck, the more you remember.
Yeah, like
You'll never forget Air Strike again.
No,
Ever.
That's one of the best way to learn things in general, like except for like bodily harm and stuff. But the hard way is generally the way to learn things. Because then you remember. You're like, oh right.
Prime example. I played against Clarence last week at our local GW, and I played Custodes with the new rules. And don't worry, we have an Inferno Tisk later.
Which means we know the rules, but they're wrong.
Yeah. I didn't know about the new Custode rules with their teleportation or their deep strike transponders.
Area strike.
That deny.
It's like an area disruption. And now it's from each. You measure from each model.
Each model gets to add to it.
Yeah.
Which is
Now
severe.
I didn't know because I didn't read the rules because I don't have book 7 or anything. And I placed my Dreadnought drop pod within 7 of these guys.
Leviathan Dread.
The Leviathan Dread. Then I was informed of the rules. I mishap, and then because
what
it's
are
a
the rules
roll,
for our viewers?
if you're within the bubble, the Custode player rolls as many dice as
Each
within
model.
Each model.
So it's pretty disgusting.
And it's a 12-inch bubble, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, if you
roll.
have Custodes, don't like 13 inches, you're fine.
Yeah.
The second you're within 12, it's like
because it's before you actually scatter.
Yeah.
So I didn't know. I scattered, and it's a -1 to your mishap roll.
Yeah.
I rolled
for
a
each
2.
model.
So it's an extremely high chance that you're going to roll a mishap.
So
and when you do, you fucked. That's a
that was a 2 right there. So yeah, that happened. And my first move, I was
400
down
points with
440
stuff.
points like that. And
That was
like,
2,500?
It was 2,500.
Okay, yeah. So a fifth of your list is gone in the first
I
time.
think
I
that's
was like,
That's a bit of a hard thing to come back
I think that's literally the worst
We drew.
thing that can happen to a
We
unit.
drew because he underestimated Kurz's hit and run, and I killed all those guys.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
Surprising. before we move on to our favorite segment, which is of course Shit Talk 30K.
Yes.
I'll get
40K,
people's thoughts on the Shit Talk 40K.
It's gonna be 30K.
Matt, 2 minutes or less. Your thoughts on this game?
This game was very close for the first.
Surprisingly,
actually, the first 4 turns. Yeah. Having the immobilized dread sucked, but thankfully I actually had the proper firing positions. And the armor saves this game for me were just brutal.
I wasn't watching the whole time, but I heard a lot of fails.
Once I roll a wound, I was just sort of like, well, I don't have to know much more about that.
Yeah, so
it's pretty guaranteed.
I don't know. I guess it's just my normal close combat luck that I have, but it was so close, and always,
it's easy to beat yourself over 3+ saves. We have to remind ourselves they're not 2+ saves.
Yeah,
we want to pretend they are, but they're not.
They're not.
They're just not.
You almost
volume of fire.
And actually, I will put this out there. I was very, very impressed when you brought down the 10-man Terror Volkite squad, and I've got my 4 Terminators who just get fucking completely gunned down.
That's what I like.
20 wounds. It was just like, and that was before the extra wounds. Like, you don't even need those.
We use a lot of AP2, and we talk about a lot of AP2, but sometimes the good old-fashioned just volume of fire, and like good old, like, I hope you fucking roll bad, it works.
There might at least that's one of the things that I like with my Night Lords that I built is I like the ability to use the drop pods.
Yeah.
And with that 10-man Volkite squad should murder almost any general squad that will come against.
Yeah, basically if it has some value,
especially with preferred enemy.
It's strength 5, right?
Strength 5.
Now the strength 5, as a child player, which is great, is you're like, you know what? I want to glance your. Was it armor 10? I can get a pen on that. Like,
and even glancing javelins, you get enough shots.
Hey, armor 11 and armor 10, like suddenly it's like
all games. So I mean, that took a lot of firepower.
Exactly.
Yeah. Jay, 2 minutes or less. Your thoughts on the game?
My thoughts on the game.
Yeah.
Well,
from what you saw.
From what I saw, I mean, I was there for probably half the game. And, like, I was listening, but
monitoring.
Yeah. I think it's unfortunate that your Scorpius got messed up so quickly.
He was smart to target it early.
Yes.
I believe
after seeing that, he was very smart to target it early.
Okay, so I didn't.
Matt's very much learning what has to die first.
I saw this and I really wanted to be like, shoot that. But I was like, he's gonna know, and like I can't.
I noticed
I don't want
enough
to
to notice I
game,
could target the one guy.
It's not fair. It's not fair to anyone to come in and help anyone. So I was just like, okay, and good enough. So you did. So that was cool. I think you made one mistake, which was forget that unit.
Yeah.
But
in the scheme of things, it's not the end of the world. Yeah. But I mean, if anything, it made you less likely to go this way for Curse because I was a bit further.
It seemed like
it was one squad versus an army. Yeah. Even if it is an objective.
And in fairness, like if you had taken the bait with Curse, I wouldn't blame you, but you definitely were smart. You're like he'll affect the whole game. He'll affect one objective. Like it's a 500-point model.
That was great.
In the thick of it.
That's a tactic I love personally, which is
considering how
do you want to go backwards or do you want to go forwards? I did that to Clary, remember? And
the shit choices.
He went forward and then he went backwards,
yeah.
And I was just like, I wasted your time. Thank you. And you know what? So I think you did that pretty well. I don't really know aside from that what she messed up, but or. Matt
thankfully didn't have any problems coming down. There was nothing. You had a little scatter, but it was nothing more than 4 or 5.
The dread claw coming down was great because it's like 6 units.
Yeah, I was content about surrounding it, but it's that problem where I get 3 guys and now you can charge me.
Do you guys
your attacks? So.
Think either of you would have picked a different table quarter? How do you think that would have affected the game?
It's hard to say.
I had one model to place before infiltrating, so.
Well, what do you think? Having played the game now, what do you think would have been the worst table size to give Ben?
I still think Matt knocked out. Well, actually, I would think that one.
You still think that one was the one?
That was the furthest from the objectives, and this one still had. At least
if I had to choose a different one that wasn't that one,
yeah,
but I was right.
You played it right because here, like making that your home. Regardless of where you end up putting critters, it's fine because I had nothing to engage with them. Like you can keep them safe. No, you played that right. You played the objectives right. Actually, putting that on top worked in your favor because it meant that like my Rhino just couldn't.
Nobody got it right.
So your javelins wouldn't be able to contest.
Yeah.
Did you get it at the end?
Yeah.
That one.
I tried, but Matt had it. Matt had it. It was one of those like, even if I had a Rhino there, I think it was just out by 3.
Yeah.
So well played, Matt. I also think too, even when you're playing Sons of Horus, if you do have your jump guys, not bad to put one objective high.
I honestly considered putting one over here at the top just for the infiltrating.
Kurz could have got, even if I got up there with bikes or something, Kurz could be like, fuck you.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I always want to do that as someone who uses infiltrate a lot, but I always find that it's like
it's dicey, right? Because
Well-
you end up there and you don't have a target and you want to get down and charge. It's like everyone's
Well,
taking dangerous, they might not
you're
fucking
making
come
the
back
decision to like, okay, so this unit's gonna sit on top of this building
Yeah.
for the entire game and do nothing,
Yeah.
and hopefully not die. And you're like, do I want to play that game? Like, then
Maybe
you think.
if you're doing Volkite, like support.
But then you think of all the points you spent on like offensive and defense abilities. You're like, I could have just had like a unit that was like min-maxed up there. Like,
Well, in fairness, I will put cards on the
I
table.
don't know.
I really did think Matt had a knight at least.
Yeah.
I feared the Leviathan.
We talked
was
about
coming
this.
because clearly we talked.
Yes.
But I was really expecting a knight, so that's where the melta bombs came in for all my vets. And
yeah.
when we didn't get to fucking
When I saw
3,000,
his list, I'm like,
when I had to redo the list to 2,500, I kept them, and it was like 400 points with the vets with melta. If I could redo things, I would probably go back to the other way and not. Just because you really had
I think
3 vehicles? 4 vehicles?
I think you need more plasma.
Yes, I agree.
I'm a huge
Leviathan,
proponent of plasma.
3
Plasma
drop
solves
pods.
all issues.
Yeah, so 4. So 4.
Yeah. Hydro fire.
And 3 of them are drop pods, which are like, they're not easy to kill, but like you don't need.
But yeah, like how much plasma did either of you guys have?
I just had
Yeah.
the combi plasma. That's
And-
it.
Yeah, you had a squad of combis
I had
that 4?
no combis.
Yeah.
and a blaster.
No.
No, and a cannon.
Yeah, an auto cannon that did like 5 wounds or 5 deaths. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's funny too because I talked shit about the autocannon and it did very
I
well.
mean, it's the strongest ranged weapon that
Yeah,
you can,
it's twin linked.
for the heavy
Plasma
slot
blaster's
anyway.
not twin linked, but
It's the strongest
yeah.
in terms of range again.
Can you check the camera just because I know we're probably still recording? I'm superstitious. We're gonna hit our limit.
All right, I got it.
So just start and stop it, just in case. Just in case. I'm sure we have lots of nice shit talking.
Beware, viewers, I'm getting really close to you.
Welcome back. We once we deal with our fat 32 issues, we'll be able to do more than certain length clips. So I feel we're perhaps at a good time to segue unless anyone else has any last comments in the game.
No, it was...
I will do my last comments very quickly. Matt, you played well. You were shaken by your less than sterling saves, but you played smart. You used the javelin well. You used the terminators well. You figured out actually splitting off the character. Fucking that won you the game, literally,
Yeah.
right there.
And that's a tactic that I've never used very much, and you use a lot. That's good. So I think that's pretty cool that you guys did
This
that.
is my 27th game now.
Probably.
Really?
And you were
In a year, yeah.
You were very smart to not charge.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's easy for a fluff game to be like, I want to show everyone how cool my character is, but
It was too close. I couldn't risk that.
Exactly,
If
yeah.
it was a blowout by that point, I'm like, yeah, fuck it, let's try it. But
because as much as we want to play with fluff, it's still a game.
because if
you
I
played
did
it
die, it would have been a draw.
And you're only helping me. You're giving me that lottery ticket.
And as
Why?
fun as that would be,
It's still
I
better to
would
win.
keep it for myself.
Yes. So that was it on the 30K game. We're going to segue into our favorite segment called Shit Talk 40K. And for those of you who may be sensitive, we may be a little acerbic, possibly even negative, about the current state of 40K.
Yeah.
And even 30K, who knows? Actually, why don't we do Shit Talk 30K first? Because I believe
Yeah, and that's
a certain member of us has looked at Inferno and has a few tidbits to share. So I'll give the floor to Matt.
So I haven't read through the book for Inferno.
You've read enough.
What I've read online and everything, I love Forge World. They have produced an amazing game
Yeah.
for 5 years.
Yeah.
Book 6, they dropped the fucking ball. The spelling mistakes, the everything with that is bad. Until they FAQ things, how they thought that having an unhittable Magnus, is broken. His ability to do Nova D shots within
Yeah.
18 inches.
Just because
is
the psychic
broken.
phase isn't the biggest thing in 30K as it is in 40K doesn't mean it can't be abused like a
Or
fucking redheaded
even
stepchild.
like having
It's
a
terrible.
right of
Terrible.
war of like I don't know specifically what it's called, but essentially the Primarch's Chosen, but having Magnus as your HQ and still having a Lord of War option available.
Yeah.
that
so-
seems inconsistent with
So
the rest of
I'm
it.
gonna have my Magnus and a Typhon in the same army with
Sure.
my.
Sure.
It's a whole 350 points. We all know how fair a Typhon is, so.
So I mean it's
Point.
just
Click.
yeah. It's just gross.
And your four contemptor Mormons, Dreadnoughts.
Mixed with your HQ Your troop scoring is Selkit Terminators with 2 wounds apiece. Like it's just gross. Especially a big problem. Why I have a problem with this personally is this was supposed to be.
You're a decent human being.
Some days.
Someday. Once in a while.
I mean, we're all afflicted with that as well.
For being essentially book 3 and being delayed this long with this many issues, like it's not easy writing rules for Thousand Sons. I mean, they are the black sheep of the entire region.
Sure.
And it's not
hands down.
Like broken stuff. It's like grammar and like spelling errors and stuff, right?
Yeah. Grammar and syntax are one thing, but we all have spell check. We have spell check in our emails now. So for a product we're spending, help me out, Matt, how many hundreds of dollars on?
You're spending about 140 Canadian, and that's before shipping.
And I'll say this, for Forge World, for a 400 fucking page book, that's one thing.
Great quality.
Sure, but the problem with 400 pages is you have to fucking check them! Fucking check them! Because you know what, when I read balls and there's a fucking word error or a grammar error, I'm like, it's balls. You know what, some Malaysian kid wrote this while crying. But when it's when it's Forge World, and we're paying for this leather-bound book made of dead fucking animals with hundreds of pages in it, it'd be really nice if you, I don't know, use a spell check? Something? Anything? Like, we understand we're human, you make rules errors, things will have to be FAQ'd. God bless us, 400 pages, there might be a couple pages of an FAQ. But for fuck's sake, we all know how to spell. Yeah. I'm stupid and I get high and I drink and I know how to spell. No one's paying me. And I can still write an acerbic fucking tweet or comment on YouTube and still spell horrible words like dick, retard, dunce. I don't know, that's probably not one of the bad words. But anyway, the point is, I spell them correctly and fucking we can ask for Forge World to do the same thing when you're spending your mortgage on them, you know?
Yes, yeah, especially if you get a Warlord Titan.
Yes. Oh my god. That's a whole other...
I don't even... How do you play with that?
You don't. You let your friend win who
I open up a bad Pandora's box there.
Regardless of how broken it is, I just mean like physically, how do you play with that?
I don't know.
How tall is the battlefield?
Is there anything left to shit talk in 30K? Because there's 40K, we got plenty.
A lot of people are complaining about Custodes right now because they're hard to deal with.
They're very strong, and it's...
Here's what else. Apart from Ares Strike, which is one of those gotchas, once you learn that, it sucks, but like you don't...
Especially with their board coverage, with that extra inch move.
That 3-inch move
when I played Clarence, he literally had almost a third of the board covered.
Yeah,
with
he'll use
3
every
squads.
Inch,
it was like, oh my... And playing the Night Lords list that I have, and deep striking, it's like, the fuck am I supposed to do?
What else? We have Custodes is thus, 4th. They're not as bad as 5th Ed Grey Knights, but... If in terms of the meta, if they become everyone's go-to
which
ally,
a lot of people are doing. Yeah.
One thing I'll say is, Mechanicus was already pretty broken in terms of allies. Not as broken in a lot of ways.
Pretty strong.
As those.
16 dark.
But my view is, what's our average game about 2,500 at this point?
That's
a good, almost
not too bad.
It's an average game.
Yeah.
That's a
solid game.
If Clarence were to run Custodes, unless he's doing them primary, I don't think he'll have over more than 1,200, and even then, it's probably a detriment.
Yeah.
Tanks don't do a lot usually, but the Custodes themselves are very. They're kind of a downer for if you have that good combat unit, because no matter what, you just. Even if you're gonna win, you're not gonna be like gangbusters like normal.
Yeah. Like I had Kurz charge those shield guys.
And you leave, right?
I bounced. I charged, and I was hitting on Force because another thing that I don't like with Inferno is this -1 that -2 that a lot of these units are getting now.
It makes Primarchs pointless.
Yeah, like
right?
Magnus is the -1 basic. Russ is -2 in base to base, so Russ automatically wins all Primarch battles now. So Horus can't even beat him unless he gets
to weapon skill or to hit?
To hit.
See, it should be weapon skill.
Yeah,
it should be.
Because that means if you have a giant weapon skill, it still matters.
Yeah.
Because the -2 hit is you're like, I'm super good. Well, it doesn't matter.
They just wanted to shave numbers.
And then his life sever ability, where he causes a wound, for Russ, he does an extra D3 wounds. after that if he causes 1 wound.
I'm already anal enough that I don't mind Russ. I just think the giant wolves were like, can't we keep that stupid stuff in 40k where it belongs?
Thankfully, they are so far. There's not any real stupid wolf things.
No. They're big, but at least they're not.
I always love that. It's like, hey, I have a magnetically accelerated uranium slug. Yeah, well, I have a giant dog and a power fist, and therefore I do more straight 10 attacks than
we have to remind ourselves that until we see a gravitic sleigh for fucking Santa, we're still better off than in 40k, where it's like whoever wants to do whatever can do whatever. You know, like I would love the design meetings of 40k. They just take fucking peyote and just give a shit. Anyway, 30k. Inferno is not the end of the world, but it needs some work.
It's not their best. It's not what we're used to their quality. Once they FAQ things, I'm sure we'll look back and laugh a bit, hopefully. We may cry a bit still, depending if they don't do it properly.
If they were classy gentlemen, they would re-release the fucking book for free, because the amount of errors are
Magnus
even for Forge World, it's pretty.
We meant for Magnus to have all those D abilities.
Magnus is unacceptable.
For 495 points.
That's...
In a game where
495 points.
In a game where there's no Tigerius, really 30k doesn't have too many ridiculous psychers. Most of the time it's Warp Charge 2 and you're paying a lot for it. Yeah. But they have a few of the reasons.
I can't believe Magnus is 80 points more than Alfarius. Wow. I'm gonna go throw up.
I feel like our problems with 30k our problems with 30k make it look like nothing. We talk about 40k because we're about to talk about 40k. So like, I don't know, feed your child and ensure that the government isn't about to take down the fucking door, because 40k is bad. Man. 40k has no idea what it is. They're trying this new thing with the Primarchs, and like, I don't know whether I want to give them like a button for effort, or I just want to be like, why did you think this was a direction worth?
They're trying to, you know what it is? They're trying to be like, Forge World is doing it. We need Primarchs too. Like, oh my god.
Games Workshop LLC does have under its employ many creative writers, creative people who, in theory, spend their lives hoping to rewrite a story better than
that's
this.
Been rewritten.
Yes, and this is like, hey look, we made this really terrible model that's worse than the fucking 30k Robo Girly Man any day. And to double down on Robo Girly Man, which, hey, I'm pragmatic. Cypher looks great, and that Grey Knight character looks like a Grey Knight character.
I love Saint Celestine. I love that model.
Why not? And Cal looks cool, yeah. but the Primarch doesn't.
No, he looks like Babyface.
He looks like the captain of a party boat who just wished he killed himself 10 years ago. So, unfortunately, if any objective metric were to be put beside, a 40 mil's about the limit we want, a 60 mil for an MC character gets stupid. But beside that, the rumors of New Marines, the Primarch's New Marines,
that's...
like the new Coke guys, marketing at GW,
Coke
you're not even good at what you do.
That's also
because
unacceptable.
This is fucking dumb, and all the rumor mongers who are pretty biased are like, these look fucking dumb.
Because when everyone's special, no one is special.
Exactly.
And now
so,
those...
why buy Custodes if you have better than Custodes? So,
why buy a tactical squad anymore?
Yes, that's a good point. Especially when you get them really cheap with the Rhino, which is one thing we can thank GW for.
God.
I don't know. They don't have any other shit talking in general.
I don't know, like, just...
I think I'm just gonna start crying right here.
I don't know where they're trying to go. Like,
I don't know.
with Gilliman's model, Forge World 1 is...
Girly man.
Yeah, I'm not an Ultramarine fan to begin with.
No,
I like...
But he looks respectable. Like, someone
the
who's
Forge
shaved.
World 1 looks amazing.
cool.
And then you have this almost like surfing guy...
He's doing the
Emperor's
splits.
sword, and he looks like he's
fire.
Almost half as big as the other.
And the base has
model.
like petards on it for no reason.
He's way too big.
Like and yeah, I would never use the face for that model. It looks awful. Like I don't like who designed that. Like
here's
you guys got creative guys. Don't get us wrong, but that's.
But here's what you do: when you have creatives in your business, you let them do their job, and you hand their hard work, sweat and blood off to the marketing team. If the marketing team is telling the creatives where to start, this is the end result. Every week there's a new useless piece of shit. Because you can print endlessly, and you've made that very aware to all 40k players. Hey, look, here's the 46 new formations this week. That's fucking great. You're making yourselves redundant, and you're really hoping the bloat will hide the rot. Unfortunately, we have noses.
And here's the 47th update for Chaos with no Codex update.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Actually, Matt, I'm very happy you brought that up. So we have this great new fucking Codex that can't be bought anywhere because it's always sold out, which I guess is good. But it's referencing a how old Codex? I'm pretty sure my dick is half the age of that Codex. At least.
4?
4, 5, 8, 6. Let's just say 6-year-old Codex. So we got a new supplement for 6-year-old Codex. And what did the Imperium get? Everything! Everything! I'm not even a NID player. I was an Orc player until I stopped. Going to AA.
Yeah,
but
you're probably gonna sell them soon, right?
I don't know. I'm just really hoping Imperium gets in their book soon, guys, because there's only 900 factions in the Imperium who can do whatever the fuck they want. And
you know what?
I really think the best thing for 8th edition would be destroy the entire concept of a faction because it's very relevant to 7th.
Sure.
And just make sure that we're just taking a list of stuff.
We should.
That would improve the game.
Also bloat each codex to the point of like. I remember when I think for Tau, I think they had like 2 of any given, 2 fast attack, 2 elite, 2 heavy support. Now you look at Marines, it's like. I don't know. How many fucking elite choices?
There's only 8 factions and about 16 sub-factions and 32 sub-factions from that.
And that's not when you add in like the fact that it's part of the Imperium subclass, essentially subclass, where you can now add in the agents of the Imperium.
Yeah.
So all that stuff.
And the Custodes faction where they just learn to paint shit gold. So apparently a fucking Land Raider, a Rhino, and a Contender Dreadnought painted gold are Custodes. Come on, GW. If Forge World's outdoing you, we really have to question ourselves here.
Well, they've been outdoing them for years.
Yeah. But marketing-wise, Forge was not going to go, we didn't make any new units for this army. Like, imagine Forge World releasing Inferno with 1 new model. That wouldn't happen. But GW is like, here's a new codex, a new faction. We didn't make new models, but we know you'll buy this shit anyway because fuck you.
That was great about Inferno, like with the open day that they had for the Horus Heresy Open Day. They had a lot of they pretty much hashed out almost the entire Custodes thing. One thing I'm not another fan of the Inferno thing is that Spear Dreadnought, that with the way it's written,
D bullshit.
With the way its rules are written right now. When it charges, and it's got like 7 or 8 attacks on the charge, any 6 makes all of its attacks D hits. Instead of the 6 being an individual
and
D,
you're already
which would have
paying
made sense.
Way too much for a lot of the knights.
So you have all these attacks you roll. Say you're rolling them one at a time. The first roll you roll is 6. They're all just D now.
Any of your Tulum rolls, they all become D. Where I'm pretty sure
6. They're all D.
Where I'm pretty sure their intention was that 1 hit.
That's a D. That's a D.
But even then,
critical hits.
But even so, a D hit for a Dreadnought. I mean, that's
It's
kind of incredibly
a bit silly, but what overshadows that is the big M, the Magnus.
Yeah.
It looks like we're still recording, so
do you want to check? I can check for you.
We'll just triple it, be sure. So I'll just say bye-bye. Bye-bye, Jay.
Bye. I'm just.
Any last words, anybody? Matt, anybody?
No, I'm good.
Props again to Matt for his victory.
It's still recording.
Okay. Last words, Jay. Up to you.
Gods of war, may your hammer be mighty.